His motto, and when you go to his website, is the intersection of people, process, and strategy.
I think the reality is that, many of us, despite using the tools in our toolbox and working as hard as we do, probably do have one of those or more clients or client systems that come in that second category, which is, they didn't accomplish everything we didn't, they didn't. I don't feel great about that work. And, the question becomes, well, what's that about? Use the same tools that I used with the ones that did work. Sure, I'm teaching the same tools from the same materials and all that good stuff with, in some cases, incredibly variable results. Maybe we're basing that approach on a model or paradigm that may not necessarily fit the situation in the world of complex human systems. As we head out on the boat, there are these things called tides. And the tides want to push the boat sideways, and they go back and forth. And sometimes you get rip tides, and sometimes you don't. This box. You're going to do the assessment first, do these 4 classes, and that's going to be better. May not necessarily be the most effective model if, in fact, the environment we're coaching in looks more like what it would ask us to be as a mechanic. Find the broken spark plug, pull out the spark plug, put in the spark plug, the car runs again, life is good, it returns to optimal state, and all you want is your engine to run. Anybody ask your engine to evolve? Grow? Maybe a more useful metaphor would be to think of our organizations as a gardener. And so then all of a sudden they have a different set of dynamics. How many of you are busy counting, saying, you know what, I think there's 212 red petals, 218, let's count the blades of grass, shall we? Because if only we could do a regression analysis on the average length of the grass, we would be able to fix this garden. Imagine you had 20, whatever this is, petunia bulbs. You gave them all 8.4 ounces of water per day and 16 pellets of fertilizer every day. How many of you expect those 20 petunia bulbs to grow up to be perfectly identical petunias? Not going to happen, right? And so what happens? The 18's a little smaller, the 19th one's a little taller, this one's a little wider. How many of us yell at the 18th petunia? Bad petunia! How dare you? I fed you the same, I watered you the same, I aired you. Wow, what's the matter with you? And, and think about how we teach, learn, try to help individuals or teams grow in a one-size-fits-all, the beginnings of a second set, that come out of this gardener thing and the notion of influence and the exact kinds of principles as a coach or a change agent that we would just take for granted in a good gardener. Can we understand it? Can we appreciate that for what it is? The other side of unorganized typically is that there is something in that almost sometimes it'll feel like flailing. We're working with them, they're working with us, we know they're not happy. And something you throw at the wall with them, some question you just take a pot shot at. Maybe it's an assessment tool, maybe it's a book they read, maybe it's a movie they saw. It may not even be anything we actually set out to do. But they come back in and all of a sudden there's this little aha. And that aha becomes the thing as a coach that if we can recognize it, we can start to influence a pattern in a complex system like a garden by thinking about the tension in the system, which is going to create the tension or the pull or the draw to change. If you look at this kind of rubber band, how much tension is there in the system for this system to be different? That would be about none. And if no change is what you want, this is really happy. Getting along is this. And sometimes what we really need to do is create tension in the system so that the pattern can change. And by the way, if I got this really right to where it's going to break, creating any more difference is going to have catastrophic results to the pattern. Right? People break. Organizations break, teams break. We've probably all deal with trying to pick up those pieces. An omelet, sometimes you got to break some eggs. Well, maybe our job, and in my sense, I have to be conscious of this in my work, is I need to stretch the rubber band. Not, not always keep it this way, even though this may be more comfortable. My hope is, in some small way, I've helped perturb the patterns in this room. People have talked with different people about different things in a different way than you usually do. What difference did it make